Hi, this is Sean Fulop here, and I just want to do a getting started tutorial on the Prot speech analysis software. So I'm assuming you know how to go to the prot.org website and download it. You just get a zip file or some kind of file that's appropriate for your system. It's actually one of the very few pieces of software on earth that is available for Mac, PC, Windows, and Linux. So really good stuff. And what you get is a standalone piece of software that you can put anywhere, and it always looks with this funny icon here. So I'm just going to launch that. I always just put it on my desktop to remind myself where it is. Just going to launch that. It always opens with the two windows, the objects window on the left, which is where the action happens, and then the picture window here, which is where you draw figures, diagrams, and things. So you can do all kinds of things here. You can record sound, you can make sounds from a mathematical formula, and so forth. So I'm not going to go into that yet. That'll be another video. I just want to show how to open a pre-existing sound file. So there are two ways to open a file, actually. You can read from file, which will load the whole thing into memory. This is only recommended for relatively short sound files up to a few minutes long. If you have a longer sound, like some kind of 1 hour session with a native speaker, then you can go open long sound file, and it will not try to take up all the computer memory with the sound. So I'm just going to go read from file here and open something that I have prepared. And this is now goes into the objects list as a sound object. There are many different kinds of objects from various sorts of analyses. For now, we'll just go with the sound object. You can click View and Edit, and you will see the sound. Now, normally when you first start Prot, it shows a spectrogram and a number of other analyses in the lower half of the window here. I'm just going to concentrate for now on the upper half window, which is the waveform. So I'm going to take away, deselect the spectrogram. So if you have the pitch on, you can deselect that, the intensity, deselect that, the formant tracks, take that away, and the pulses, take that away. You're left only with the waveform. The waveform is just a graph of the back and forth motion of the microphone diaphragm. Now what you have down here are gray bars which act as play buttons. So if I click this gray bar, it'll play the whole recording. So let's see what it is.
Heed, hid, haid, head, had.
Okay, so that's me saying the 5 words. And now what I can do, with the vertical cursor here, you can put it anywhere, and it divides the file into 2 portions. So now I can click and play just this first part.
Heed.
And then if I click this other gray bar, then it'll play the second part. A handy thing too is you can select any portion, and you can then I'll show you how to zoom it. Here you have the zoom buttons, but you can just play the selection like this. And then these are the zoom buttons down here, so you can zoom in generally or back out again, and now you can also zoom to the part I just selected right there. So now we see heed, which I had selected. Now the waveform, like I said, shows the back and forth movement of the microphone, which corresponds to the nature of the sound waves impinging on it. So here you see a random sound at the very beginning, which corresponds to the noise of the H, the H, heed, like that. Then you have it change to a periodic vibration when the vowel starts, because now it's being created by the vibration of my vocal cords as they generate the vowel sound. If you zoom in on it, you can really see the periodicity, the regularity of the pattern of the back and forth vibration. So this is actually, each of these peaks now corresponds to a single cycle of my vocal cords as they hit each other and open up, and hit each other and open up. So that's the sound generated by that pulsation of the vocal cords. So I'm going to zoom back out again, and you can see it zooms out in steps. So this portion now is the E vowel, and then over on this side is the D this part is where my mouth was closed, so it's relatively lower in amplitude. The volume of the sound there is quite less, because of course my mouth is shut, so sound can't get out. So that's where I was voicing through the d, like this, and then I spit out the d at the very end, and I just went d. That's the little vowel type of sound that I made at the very end of the word heed. So when you've seen enough, you can just close that down, and that concludes this video on just getting started, opening a sound and scanning around and playing it.